This video will provide you instruction on how to complete the academic planning assignment. Once you are in Blackboard and in your course, you want to click on Learning Lessons. Once you are in the Learning Lessons section, you will go down to the lesson that's about academic planning or the academic plan, which is Lesson 5. Then in the Lesson 5 folder, you will scroll down to the academic planning assignment. For this assignment, there are 4 steps. You will first need to download and complete Worksheet 1. And for Worksheet 1, you will need to use the KCTCS catalog to list the courses, the credit hours, and the prereqs or co-reqs for the major or career path you are currently seeking. You'll notice that there are several documents. For Worksheet 1, you'll see a Word version, which is the DOX or DOCX, and then Worksheet 1 PDF, which is a PDF version. If you're going to be printing these out and writing on them, you want to use the PDF version. That's the print version. And just make sure that you write legibly or you print so everything that you write down on your documents can be read. There's also a rubric that tells you how the assignment will be graded. But for step 1, you'll complete Worksheet 1. For step 2, you will do something called a degree audit or academic requirements check in your student self-service, and you will access the student self-service to download that document and review it, and that's simply all you're doing with the degree audit. Worksheet 2, for this assignment, you will need to work with your advisor, but you can go ahead and have a plan mapped out for Worksheet 2. And then, of course, step 4 is making sure you do the follow-up with the advisor because they are supposed to sign your academic plan. And if you're doing it via email, you can use the email and just attach the email, do like a print screen or a snippet of your email from your professor if you're doing it via email, because they may or may not be able to print out and sign and e-scan back to you, and they can simply reply. So you'll begin by clicking on the KCTCS catalogs link, and this will take you out to the website that shows the various years catalog. You will always want to click on the current catalog. When you click on that, that'll take you to the current year catalog, and you want to scroll down to the requirements page or academic credentials awarded, which in this version of the catalog is page 72. In a different version or a different year of the catalog, it may be on a different page, but you'll want to start with academic credentials awarded. And for this example, I'm going to use the Associate of Arts for an example. So you'll see here that it goes through the different courses that are required for that degree. Written requirements, 6 credit hours, oral communication, 3 credit hours, and so forth. And I'll go through each of these sections as I complete Worksheet 1. So what I'm going to do is split my screen now so that I can show both the academic planning sheet, Worksheet 1, as well as the catalog. And I've already started a little bit to get a head start in the video, but basically for written communications I have to have 6 credit hours. And if I scroll down a couple pages, this is on page 72, but if I scroll down to the general education requirements area, you'll notice that written communication, it tells me the courses that I can take. So I have to have 6 hours, so I'm going to take English 101 and 102. And then for oral communications, I have a pick of 5, but I only need one 3 credit hour course. And most students take COM 181 or 252. So I'm going to go ahead and list 252. So if I scroll back up to page 72, you'll notice the next things on the list is a arts and humanities requirement, and I'm just going to write that down for now. And you have to have 2 of those, and most courses are 6 credit hours, so you can kind of put 2 down, and then we'll come back and fill in a potential class. For quantitative reasoning, I'm just going to put QR. I have to have one 3 credit hour course. For natural science, I have to have a 3 credit hour course. I'm going to put NS. And then for social and behavioral science, an SBS class, I have to have 9 credit hours. And again, typically, those are 3 credit hours each. You will come across a time when you have 4 credit hours. For example, if you take a science with a lab, that is going to be more than 3 credit hours, as well as some quantitative reasoning courses or math courses. So that gets the first section out of the way. When I go down here to the next section, I have to pick another quantitative reasoning or natural science course for 3 hours. So I'm going to put QR/NS for 3 hours. So that gives me the education core of 33 hours. The next section here is the associated arts requirement of 12 hours. I have to select from the core categories, which are any of these categories here, and or foreign language, and at least 6 of those hours must be from arts and humanities and or social and behavioral science. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and just write arts and humanities down and another SBS class for 3 credit hours. So that brings me down to 2 more classes because I just completed 6 hours, so I can do any others. So I'm going to put other, and I'm going to put GE for general education course, which are any of those categories that we just talked about. And then the final section is the electives block. So for electives, I can do any 15 credit hours that I want, and then that brings me up to the total of 60 credit hours for the AA. And this would work for any the AA or the AS. You just have different requirements, so it works very similarly. So you have 15 hours. You're currently taking FYE 105, so you want to write that down. There's also a digital literacy requirement for AA and AS, and actually for any degree unless they have it written otherwise. So you would need the CIT 105 or other digital literacy course. And I'll show you, and I'll actually put or DL course because it does not have to be CIT 105. It's just the most common one that is taken. And then that leaves you a block of 9 hours. So you can put elective, elective, elective. And these electives can be used in any area. It can be any of these gen ed requirements listed here, but it can also be any course listed in any technical program. And that way that gives you a sense of direction that maybe you're interested in, such as human services or business or CAD or unmanned systems technology. It can be any of those. And one thing with AA and AS, you have to select a cultural studies course, which could also be a heritage humanities or social behavioral science. It's for AA, AS degrees, so you have to fit that in. So what we're going to do is scroll down to where the actual courses are listed. And I said below that they were on page 76. That's where they start. And I'm going to go back and fill in these categories. So I already completed the first 2, but the quantitative reasoning, I'm going to pick for an AA right here. It says Math 146 will work. So I'm going to put Math 146. Now, if you place into a developmental course, of course, you're going to have to take some developmental courses until you can meet the requirements to take the Math 146. The next section is a natural science course, and I am going to pick a course from this list, and you have plenty to choose from on this list. I think I'm going to pick the GLY 130, which is Dinosaurs and Disasters. However, if you're going into an allied health program, you may want to take the Bio 135 or 137 depending on the requirements of that course. But I'm going to pick GLY 130. This brings me down to where I need to select 3 different courses for the social and behavioral sciences courses. Again, notice right here's the AA. So I have all these courses here to pick from, and I'm going to pick 3 classes. So I'm going to go down through the list and decide what I think I might want to take. And I think I'm going to take political science as one of my choices. I think I also want to try the general psychology class and maybe the sociology class. Then my next course, I can pick either a quantitative reasoning or another natural science course. So maybe I'm not too good at math and I don't want to really do another math. So I think I'll select another science course. And I will tell you, if you're planning on transferring, you probably want to take a science with a lab. So if you took GOY up here, that's fine, but you could have taken the Bio 137 or even the Bio 112 and Bio 113, and that counts as your lab. So you would need that if you're transferring. But in any case, I think I'm going to pick, I will go with just the Bio 112. Then I have to pick another arts and humanities class. And I actually forgot up here. I need to go back up here and write those in. So here's the Heritage and Humanities course. Arts and Humanities, I think I will pick something from this list, such as, I guess I'm going to go with Hume 202, or even, yeah, I think I'll go with Hume 202. And that will meet the cultural studies requirement. So I'm going to put a star here and put CS for cultural studies. And then I'm going to select another arts and humanities, and I can go back up to my original list and pick one from here. A lot of people pick history courses, but you can also pick like Art 100. I know a lot of folks also do Music 100, so there's a lot to pick from. I'm going to go ahead and pick Art 100, and then down here for my next elective, I'm going to go ahead and pick History 108. And then you notice again, because we've already filled this in before, I need another social and behavioral science course. So I'm going to go up here and look at the list. And I think I'm going to go with a second social class because I think I may really like that. And again, what you're putting here is just a plan. Doesn't mean you cannot change it. So you can change it to a different class if you decide you take Social 101 and you don't like sociology. So another gen ed from any category up here, I'm going to go ahead and pick the History 109, which is the second part to the history here. And then maybe, let's see, maybe astronomy, which I'll take the solar system, which is 191. And I already have the FYE class and the CIT 105 done. So now for the 3 electives, I can pick anything I want. So let's just say maybe you're interested in a program, and I'm going to go down through here and just find one that I do have an interest in, which is unmanned systems technology. And I think I want to take a couple classes here. So I think I'm going to take this UST 107, and then maybe this introduction class, and then maybe another elective from this area that I might be interested in, probably the 105, maybe the safety and regulations class. So that'd be UST 105. So that gets me some hours there. Now it's time to look up the prereqs, and the way you do that is go to the end of the catalog. There is a course description area, and again in this version of the catalog it starts on page 224, and I'm going by the page number that's in the catalog, not the page number of the PDF, which hopefully is the same. Now you just start looking up the courses. So I'm going to go down to English 101. So right here, and you can see the prereq. And I'm actually just going to copy this over and paste it as plain text, and then do the same thing for 102. And again, you have to copy it as the plain text option. That way it doesn't copy all the formatting over. And then look up Communications 102. So 252 has a prereq or co-req of current placement or instructor consent. And you don't need this stuff here. I copied too much on these ones up here. You just need the prereq. And then I'm going to look up Hume 202. And I think you get the idea of how you complete this section. So if you want to pause the video and complete the prerequisite section on all of these, you can do so. And you can, and actually let me show you on the Hume 202, you notice there's nothing that says prereq. That means there is none. So you would write none. And then you go to Art 100, and there's none on that one. Math 146. So the prereq on this one is a couple of things, but again, you can copy as plain text, and it'll have the different requirements. You've got 3 different ones here. And it's or, so you have to have one of the 3 conditions to meet it. GLY 130 is none. POL 101, none. Psych 110 is current placement. Soc 101 shows none. And while I'm here, because I know I've got the Soc 151 down here, I'll go ahead and do that one. Prereq is 101 or Psych 101 or consent of instructor. Oops, put that on the wrong one. Let me put it down here. Then I'm going to go back up to biology. I'm doing 112, and there is no prereq on that one. Then history 108. Okay, history 108 shows no prereq, so you would put none. And then I'll go back up to astronomy. So that's AST 191. You'll notice there's none. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the CIT 105. And like I said, there is a list in that Gen Ed section that shows the different digital literacy courses. So right here, you notice prereq is reading 20 or consent. And I can tell you that some instructors do go ahead and give the consent. I skipped the FYE, so let me go ahead and do the FYE course. 105. There is none. And then we'll go down to the UST courses. So for 100, there is none. 105, there is none. And 107, there is none. So I'm going to put none, none, none. And I have a lot of other room left over. I can leave it as is, or I can delete the extra rows, and I just highlighted them, right-clicked, and delete rows. And that should come up to 60 hours. So I have that sheet done.